pork butt, pork shoulder, whatever you want to call it, that's what you're going to be using to make delicious pulled pork. And this video is going to concentrate on the process of making pulled pork on a smoker. In particular, this ProQ Excel is going to be used with a water pan that creates a nice moist cooking environment. And also I'm going to be using chunks of applewood, so you're going to need some applewood, decent lump charcoal or briquettes, whatever you prefer, and the star is going to be this Smoke and Flame Boston butt rub. So they sent me this free of charge. I'm going to be giving my unbiased review in this video of how that elevates pork. Typically I do make my own rubs, but I have had the Persian chicken and the lamb raan that they sent through as well, and I have to say they were absolutely fantastic. So I have very high hopes for this rub, and it's going to cut out the preparation time by quite a significant amount, because you're measuring out all of your different ingredients when you're making your own rub. So the convenience factor and the flavour profiles of the other one I've tried, I'm really looking forward to trying this Boston butt rub. So here we have our pork shoulder, and as you can see the skin is still on the top, and that's quite a thick layer as well with fat underneath. So I will be leaving some of the fat on there because it's always good to have a fat cap just to keep some of that moisture in, but really to have the smoke and the rub penetrate into the meat is going to be much more favourable on this cook than previously putting it on the skin, and as I say, just having to discard the skin anyway. So let's get this skin removed. So that was relatively straightforward, and the reason being is having a really sharp knife just made that almost cut like a razor. So very clean, only a slight bit of meat on there. Maybe I can make some crackling with that, but we'll just set that to the side for now. I've also noticed that we've got a bit of the rib cage still attached, so I'm going to remove that as well. And as we can see here, this is with the bone, so that's just going to help hold everything together as it's cooking. Now, I've not had to remove the top part of the rib section before, but we'll see how we get on. So there we have the pork shoulder. The amount of, there's a few taggy little bits that's probably just going to burn up, so I'm going to remove that. And this bit of fat here is probably not going to render, so I'm going to remove that as well. And obviously just be super careful if you are using a really sharp knife. Always cut away from you. You don't want any accidents. And one thing, don't rush. Just take your time. When I've found myself rushing in the past, as you would expect, you can make mistakes. And cooking's all about having fun and relaxing. No point getting stressed. So give yourself plenty of time. You don't want to be having your guests waiting for food because things are going behind. So just plan ahead is what I would suggest. So I can feel the bone in there. So quite a decent sized bit of meat. Like I said, 4.5 kilos. Having now removed the skin and that section of the upper rib cage, then obviously it's a little bit less in weight, and during a cook it will shrink as well. So what I'm going to do now, get rid of those bits. I'm going to go and get my yellow mustard. I'm going to use that as a binder. You don't have to. This is already quite tacky, but it's something that I always do. So I'm going to be putting some yellow mustard on, and then we'll add our seasoning. So I've got my yellow mustard. Just going to put on some fresh gloves. And then what I try to do, again, just to prevent any cross-contamination, is I'll use one hand to apply the rub or the mustard to the actual meat, and the other hand is just used to actually hold the item. Put that over there. and this is just a mild mustard. So if you're not a fan of mustard, as my wife's not a fan of mustard, you don't taste this once it's gone through the cooking process anyway. Like I say, it's just as a binder. So that's our fat cap side. Not a huge amount of fat on there, but less work to trim it off. Flip this over. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the Boston Butt dry rub from Smoke and Flame. I've already put some, probably about half of this shaker full. And we're going to be nice and generous with this because it's going to give it tons of flavour. And something I forgot to do, but to stop your chopping board moving around like that, if you put a tea towel underneath it, it just stops it moving. Try and get every little bit covered. I think that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this into a foil tray, which I've got here, and then I'll put some cling film or plastic wrap over the top. That's going to go into the fridge, and I'll probably take it out of the fridge maybe half an hour before I aim to put it on the smoker. So as mentioned, I'm aiming to put that on around about midnight, and then we'll just see how it progresses. But as a ballpark, I'm hoping to put it on at 12 and have it ready to eat around about 4:30, 5 o'clock tomorrow. So when it actually comes to preparing your smoker, as mentioned, this is the ProQ Excel. Also got the ProQ Frontier, but for a bigger bit of meat with a large foil tray, I'm going to be going with the ProQ Excel for this cook. What I would typically do is have my coals around the edge of the charcoal basket. So on the Excel, the charcoal basket is a bit bigger in diameter, which means I won't be having to add as much fuel on a regular basis. So I'll have unlit coals around the edge. I'll then have my chimney starter. When I start my cook, that will be half filled with charcoal. Get those red hot coals will go in the middle, and then what will happen is the other coals will gradually catch, and that's what will give me that consistent heat. Again, aiming 225 to 250. I'll also have thermometers measuring the temperature, and then I've got a Bluetooth app on my phone so I can track the temperatures. And then obviously I still want to sleep tonight, so when I'm sleeping, if it drops below 225 or just under that threshold, then it will alert me. And if it rises above a temperature, it will alert me. So I can just try and keep that steady temperature throughout the cook to the best of my ability. So let's get some charcoal in the basket, and then you can see how that looks. So I've added my lumpwood charcoal, left the space in the middle, and as mentioned, that's where the lit coals will go, and then gradually the rest of this will catch. What I will then also do is I will have my applewood that I'm going to be using, and I'll have those positioned around the edge. Maybe we'll start off with 3 bits. Applewood's obviously not as strong as things like oak or hickory, so I'll probably go with 3 chunks and then just get making sure that I top up the wood as required. So that's my lumpwood charcoal and my wood ready to go. I'll then be assembling the rest of my smoker. On the ProQ, these are called stackers, so I'll have 1 stack set in that position. This is then my water pan. This will be probably at least half full, if not a little bit more. Obviously that adds weight to the smoker, so I want to make sure that this is in its final position before I add water to it. But the water pan simply goes in there like this. I'll then have one of my cooking grates here, and there'll be a foil tray underneath to capture any of the contents of the pork as it's dripping down. That will also have a little bit of water in it, or maybe some apple juice or apple cider vinegar water. And then I have the next stack on top. I then have my other cooking grate, and that's where the pork shoulder will be sitting. And then finally my lid. And the good thing about the ProQ is you have all these latches, so once you're set, put all the latches in, keeps it nice and stable. Another thing to note is that I typically have the top vent fully open, and then I regulate the heat by the amount of air that can go in through the bottom. And again, aiming for 225 to 250 should give me that nice consistent cooking time as well, and most importantly the cooking temperature. So that's how everything needs to be set up, and then around about midnight the pork will be going on. Maybe half an hour before that I'll be lighting it, getting it up to temperature, and we'll see how we get on. So it's 25 to 12. I've got the pork out of the fridge. I've got the kettle boiling some water that I'm going to be putting into the water pan. Ideally I don't want to put cold water into the water pan. And then I'm going to be starting the chimney starter, get those initial coals nice and hot. They're going to go into the middle of the charcoal basket. I've got charcoal to hand, I've got more wood to hand as well, so during the course of the night I can periodically check on it, make sure that there's enough wood and that there's plenty of heat. And I've got my temperature probe connected, so this will transmit the temperature of my smoker to my phone. If it drops below a certain threshold, maybe 210 degrees Fahrenheit, then I can come out, open the vents or add more fuel. And if it gets too hot, I can do the same. I can maybe close the vents a little bit, so that way I can get a relatively decent night's sleep while making sure that nothing's going to be dropping in temperature too significantly. So let's get the chimney lighter started, and then I'll get that boiling water into the water pan. So I've now got my water pan 3/4 full of boiling water. That just means that it's going to take less time for the temperature to stabilise, rather than putting cold water in there and waiting for it to get up to temperature. I've also got my chimney starter. Those coals are nice and hot. They're not all glowing red. I'll probably say about 3/4 of them are glowing red, and I've got it just over halfway full. So I'm going to add that to my charcoal basket, and then we'll assemble the smoker, and then the pork's going to go on next once it gets up to temperature, aiming for 225 throughout the duration of this cook. I will get a few little peaks and maybe a few little drop-offs, but ideally 225 is what I'm aiming for. So wait for the smoker to get up to temperature, I'll add the pork, and then hopefully the next time you see me it'll be in the morning. So it's about 6:15, just got a notification say it's fallen below that threshold that I'd set on the smoker, so let's have a look and add some more fuel. So I'm just going to give it a spritz with some apple juice and some water. The bark looks like it's setting, so I'll just make sure it stays nice and moist. So internal temperature hit around about 160, so I've decided to take it off the cooking grate. I've added it to this foil tray. I'm going to put foil over the top. I've added my probes at this point, and this will now carry on cooking until it hits around about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I'll be probing it for tenderness. So 200, 205, might not even take that if it's really probing really nice and soft, and we'll definitely be able to tell when it's cooked when that bone just falls out. So we'll put this back on the heat. So it's about 1 o'clock and it's looking good. Got a little bit of cracking starting on the top, and I'm just going to put a little bit of Coke in the bottom now as well, just as an extra bit of flavour, and give it a little spritz. So it's coming up to 5:15. We've got about another 15 minutes for the pork. It's actually in the oven. Decided to put it in the oven rather than keep on putting charcoal on the smoker, and then we will be letting it rest, and then we'll be pulling the pork and getting that bone out. So that'll be the next part of the video. So we're now at 204 degrees Fahrenheit, the doorbell's just rung. So let's get this pork out of the oven and see what we're looking at. So the pork has rested. I've just put on some cotton gloves and some nitrate gloves over the top. And I've just had some tea towels over the top while it's been resting. Let's have a look. That looks pretty awesome. Quite happy with that. See where the fat has rendered down. Looks nice and moist, and plenty of dew in the bottom as well, so as I'm shredding it up, hopefully that's going to really add to that flavour. So just looking where the bone is. The bone's around this side, so I'm going to take my probes out. Bones on this side. Feels like it's just gonna fall apart. Come out nice and clean. Really happy with that. So allowing that pork shoulder to get to that 205 degrees Fahrenheit really paid off. After it had rested, it pulled really nice and easily. You can see that beautiful smoke ring from the applewood, and the bark on this thing was fantastic. So much flavour. I also sprinkled a little bit of the Boston butt rub on the pork itself after I'd pulled, and then I served that on some brioche buns with some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, a nice side salad, and then also a homemade macaroni cheese. So if you've never cooked a pork shoulder before and you want to try it low and slow on a smoker, I would highly recommend the Smoke and Flame Boston butt. It added such a wonderful depth of flavour, plus the additional of the applewood really did elevate this pork shoulder. I hope you found this video beneficial. If you have, please like and subscribe, and if you've got any comments or feedback, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below.